Hello and welcome to The Spirit Safe. My name is Rob. Thank you very much indeed for joining me. What do we have this time? It's a Scotch single malt from Islay, but it's not from a known distillery, and it's the first one I think we've had from Islay that hasn't been from an identified distillery. It is the Blackadder Peat Reek. Blackadder, slightly balmy independent bottlers. They do lots of weird and wonderful things. Got a couple of blended malts. They've got something called snake venom or something, which is where they fill a cask with whiskey. They bottle half of what's in it, then they refill it with something else, but they never take it below half, and they keep rebottling. Anyway, so pretty interesting stuff. So this is just from a mystery Islay distillery. It's a single cask strength bottling, bottled at 59.5% ABV. That's rather a lot. Yeah, heavily peated. It doesn't come with an age statement, so my guess is that this is fairly young, and I do have a theory as to what the distillery might be. Non-chill filtered, natural colour. Let's have a look at the bottle here. It's all slightly rough bottle. It's got quite a handmade cottage industry feel to the whole packaging, which I kind of like. And another thing you may notice here, I don't know if you can see it. Oh yeah, rather a loss of sediment. Not only do they not chill filter, I don't think that they particularly aggressively barrier filter the whiskey that they produce. And there are other examples from Blackadder where you really can see splinters of wood in the bottle, which I think adds to its character. So, bought this at the BC liquor store in Vancouver almost 2 years ago. Cost me about 135 Canadian dollars plus tax. Not a regular item at BC liquor stores, and all of that batch I think has now gone. I don't know whether you'd find this particular. They must do various runs of the Peat Reek stuff. It was bottled in 2015, by the way. It says so on the label. So let's see what we've got. This is, on paper, young, heavily peated Islay whiskey at nearly 60% ABV. This is going to be a challenging palate, but let's see what we have. Smoke and fruit. So kind of two sides to a coin. You've got the peaty side, and you've got all those phenols, those creosol notes coming through. It's medicinal, TCP, J's fluid, creosote on the nose, salty sea air, and then there are some fruity notes as well. Apple pie, the crust, the pastry, and the baked apple. Cinnamon, spiced apple cider, pears, hint of ice cream, lemon loaf, gingerbread, and tobacco as well. It's quite kind of salty, hint of leather, gunpowder, milk chocolate, fennel, and aniseed also. So it's powerful, but it's also got that softer side to it. So I will try it without first adding some water, then I'll add some water, nose, and taste. Yes, it's 60% ABV, but it is fairly palatable, even at that very high ABV. Sweet and sour notes. It's fairly syrupy. It's got quite a reasonably thick mouthfeel. You get cigar, smoke, carbon, wood char, bonfire notes, a real medicinal peat, TCP, antiseptic, ashy kind of notes to it. There is sweeter notes, barley sugar, lemon, salty licorice, most definitely. The ashy notes quickly fade to a chocolate, a hazelnut type note. And I've been enjoying this very, very much. A bit more creamy now, actually. So let's add a little bit of water. Actually, I'm going to add 2.5 teaspoonfuls because 60% ABV, rather a lot. That's brought out a really nice cereal note. Still very, very peaty, but it's brought out mandarin orange, light citrusy malt. Maybe a kind of lemon jelly, lemon curd note. Getting kind of moss, seaside. You imagine sphagnum moss that's growing near the seaside and it soaked up all of that sea air and salt. It brings out a slight bitter note, but a very, very pleasant bitterness that continues on to the finish. Adding water means it still retains a lot of its intensity, particularly its peaty notes, but it does bring out the youth of this a little bit. I wouldn't say this is older than 8 years. A hint of spice as well. The finish is very, very salty. It dries quite quickly, a pleasant dryness. Lapsang Souchong tea, ashy iodine notes, and salty licorice. So, having tried a single malt from every working distillery on Islay, my theory is that this, if I had to guess, I'd say this is a young Lagavulin, aged 6 to 8 years. Could be wrong, but that's my guess based on my experience with the Islas. So this is a pretty good bet for people who like cask strength whiskey and like quite a lot of peat. If you see it, buy it and approach it with an open mind, because I think it's really quite good. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the view. Like, comment and subscribe as ever. Pleased to hear your views if you've tried this malt. Anyway, cheers. Bye bye.